Good morning to the members of the press here present. We thank you for being with us here today. As the Constitution Defenders Forum, we're here to present our statement in light of the plethora of activities that we're seeing going on within the constitutional landscape. We've been seeing a number of court cases. We've been seeing that also Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026 has now officially entered the parliamentary processes. It was presented for its first reading before the National Assembly of the Parliament of Zimbabwe yesterday. Today it is scheduled and tabled to go for its second reading. Now, the first reading is when a bill is officially introduced into Parliament, and we're going to be seeing this bill going through these parliamentary processes. But as CDF, we maintain that these processes are illegitimate, and that this bill should be, it's a travesty of justice. It's essentially a coup d'etat against the Constitution of 2013 of Zimbabwe. And we have today our convener, Honorable Tendai Biti, as well as our deputy convener, David Anthony Chimini, who will also be reinforcing our position as CDF today. Over to you, convener.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Fourth Estate. On the 2nd of June 2026, the National Assembly of Parliament of Zimbabwe received the first reading of Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. On 3 June 2026, the National Assembly will commence the second reading debates on CAB3. So today is a tragedy. Today is a big day in respect of which, without the support, consent and authority of the people of Zimbabwe, ZANU-PF is pushing an unlawful and unconstitutional bill. And in so doing, they are pushing Zimbabwe to a precipice. They are pushing Zimbabwe to a point of no return. Right from the word go, we in the CDF and the other like-minded bodies and organizations argued consistently that CAB3 is a coup against the people of Zimbabwe. That CAB3 is a coup against the constitution approved by 3 million Zimbabweans in March of 2013. CAB3 seeks to remove entrenched term limits and nicodemously create a life presidency, a Munumtapa kingdom, for Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa. CAB3 disastrously seeks to take away the democratic right of Zimbabweans to vote for a leader of their choice by replacing this prerogative into the hands of a parliament consisting of 280 people. The War of Liberation yet as its center of gravity, one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. So to remove the electoral college from 17 million people to 280 people is a flagrant violation of the center of gravity of the War of Liberation. It's a reversal of decades and decades of the struggle for decolonization that was carried out by Africans in Zimbabwe and elsewhere. CAB3 seeks to extend the election cycle to 7 years from the internationally recognized benchmark of 5 years. CAB3 seeks to undermine women and gender rights, democracy and the rule of law by removing the Chapter 12 institution, the Gender Commission. CAB3 is regrettably driven by the cartels and syndicates that now control and own Zimbabwe. A week ago, we saw a vulgar expression of their wealth in the wedding of one of their children, a wedding in which, in a country where 76% of the people are surviving on less than US $1.25 a day, gifts running into their millions were ostentatiously displaced in a gross act of consumption for the sake of consumption, accumulation for the sake of accumulation. So we will not allow these Ziganandas, these cartels, to take over Zimbabwe, to reverse our democracy, to reverse our hard-won independence, and over our dead bodies Will we allow them to reverse our constitution and to take over the occupation of the highest office in the land, namely number 1 Chancellor Road, Borodale? Zimbabweans are totally and absolutely opposed to the entire matrix of the shenanigans contained in the 22 provisions of CAB3. The process that has gotten us today has been a farce. Parliament's public consultation process was marred with violence, manipulation, fear, and daylight thuggery. As I'm talking to you here, Emmanuel Sitima, Hamauswa, and other student leaders are languishing in prison. As I'm standing before you right now, Madzibaba Eshanduko and many other Democrats, including war veterans who were arrested on the 17th of October 2025, are languishing in prison. As I'm talking to you right now, the CDF has given notifications of over 200 meetings, all of which have all been banned and proscribed. As I'm talking to you right now, many of our leaders, including the convener of the CDF, have been arrested, denied passports, denied the right to speak and address to people. People like Professor Lavmoma Doku has been violated and assaulted in front of the police. The parliamentary process failed to pass the constitutional test of an open democratic process. An illegitimate, irresponsible process marked by arrest, banning of opposition meetings, and proscription of alternative opposition cannot produce a credible and legitimate outcome. Parliament can therefore not sit to debate CAB3 when the mandatory process of public consultation set out in Section 141 of the Constitution were flouted and abused. In short, the second reading debate commencing in Parliament today cannot take place given the farce regarding and arresting the process of public consultation getting us today. So in our submission, CAB3 must be withdrawn and withdrawn courtesy namhla. As Parliament commences this debate, every member of Parliament must be alive to the weight of the history and obligation that lies on his or her shoulders. The aspirations of millions of Zimbabweans, their dreams, their hopes, lie on the conscience of the 280 men and women honored to be Zimbabwe members of Parliament. The blood and memory of King Lobengula, King Muzilikazi, Chagwe Nehana, Chaminuka, Benjamin Murombo, Lookout Masuku, Dabaningi Sitori, Herbert Wilfred Chitepo, Edson Sitori, Dumiso Dabengo, Gibson Zibanda, Morgan Richard Changirai, Tonderai Ndira, and many others surround and suffocate these MPs. They must debate with their conscience. They must debate with the purity of their own hearts. The eyes of their conscience must guard them. History will judge them. History will condemn them. History will desecrate their graves and the graves of their grandchildren. They must know the weight of history. They cannot betray. They cannot sell out Zimbabweans. We expect them to do right. Their constituencies expect them to do right. As I'm standing here before you, 210 court applications have been filed by multiple citizens across the length and breadth of Zimbabweans against each and every single member of Parliament, asking them to do the right thing, demanding and questioning from them where they derive the mandate to amend the Constitution. Because in 2023, they didn't campaign on the mandate of amending and removing the Constitution. So they must vote right. And I must express our concern over the news we've just received that ZANU-PF and its junta and the police are now following each of the applicants, each of the people who have brought those applications against 210 people. And in Matabeleland South right now, all the people who are signatories to those applications are now being pursued. To what end and for what purpose? Further, We demand that any vote taken in Parliament must be by way of secret ballot. This is an elementary standard consistent with constitutionalism and the rule of law. This is a standard which our Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, in the case of the Speaker of Parliament and Love Dodana Moyo, way back in 2008, confirmed was sacrosanct. We regret the brazen arrogance and hubris of ZANU-PF leadership. We regret their failure to learn from history. We regret their failure to ignore the blunt lesson of 2017, that you can't privatize Zimbabwe, that neither your children nor your wife nor your friends can receive the baton stick of Zimbabwe, that Zimbabwe is not a private limited company that can be passed on like a dirty tired tax shop. We regret that. It surely cannot be about whoever wins, wins. Any leader, so responsibility, maturity, and soberness requires that only that there be one winner in Zimbabwe, and that is the people of Zimbabwe. Any leader or individual that does not recognize this tried truism is not fit for office. Thus, as we veer towards a potential dark theater of the macabre, we call for a soft landing for Zimbabwe. We call for a constitutional solution. Given the failures of the current government in its regime, only a national transitional authority can save the situation. Lines have been crossed, but it is not too late to save this beautiful republic. And that task begins with members of parliament that will sit in the chamber of the National Assembly this afternoon. We can reverse history. We can avoid the bloodshed. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll take a few questions and our statement will be distributed by chairs. Yes, Tony.
Well, the process seems to be ongoing. It's like a gravy train. At what point do you think that this can be stopped?
Well, it can begin today, but the problem is that if you close all avenues of legitimate expression, you open alternative avenues. The retired army generals, retired civil servants through Air Vice Marshal Mching, and many other organizations have called for public expression in terms of Section 59 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. That is coming. That is coming. And when I say that they are not learning from 2017, they must know what 2017 represented, an unlawful expression of public dissent, but this time by members and men and women in uniform. That is the soft landing we are trying to create to avoid such a situation. They can't continue hell-bent on madness. They can't continue to be sadomasochist and to lead Zimbabwe to this suicidal path, a point of no return, a point in respect of which no one is in control, a theater of the macabre, as we called it in our statement. Yes, sir.
Do you feel that like litigations are working because the other cases that were reserved, were ruling reserved, and there are these new cases? Do you think the legal route is working in this case because they are proceeding while these cases are?
Zimbabweans have taken a knock from the legal processes. And so Zimbabweans are cynical of the judiciary. I think many remember the hate of the outcome of the presidential petition of 2018. But despite that, Zimbabweans are law-abiding and peaceful. So they will never abandon their right to recourse to the courts. They don't control outcomes of the courts, but they will continue to going to the courts. With confidence in the new Chief Justice, Justice Elizabeth Gwaunza, and we hope that a new beginning can be ushered, one in respect of which court judgments are a true reflection of the law, and that the courts themselves are not weaponized, and court judgments are not weaponized. So we're grateful that that there's a new Chief Justice, And we as CDF will continue going to the courts. Will continue using the courts. But the law is not the only recourse. Section 57, Section 59 is a recourse. Lobbying, campaigning, public gatherings, public meetings are the ultimate solution to this conundrum that Zimbabwe finds itself in.
There have been public calls for general members, and specifically with the army and other quarters, calling on Zimbabweans to come together for other alternative forms of resistance towards this. Is your organization ready to join this?
Yes, we have made it very clear that we support the right of Zimbabweans to demonstrate and peacefully assemble. That is contained in Section 59 of the Constitution, and we will be part of any such processes done in terms of Section 59. Also, as you are well aware of, we are very close to announcing a grand coalition around the Constitution, and the face of that coalition will be a well-respected and well-known Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to you.